Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you haven't checked it out already, I did a spontaneous vocal cover of the motion picture collection last year for Masterpiece's birthday. And I did intend to eventually do a flute cover of it, of the regular version rather, at some point, and I decided that Masterpiece's second birthday was appropriate. The song itself is one I resonate with on a personal level. As I stated in the previous cover, that it is a song about self-forgiveness. And while I could elaborate on what that means to me, I think just go back and watch the ending of that video to gather my thoughts on it. I'm going to instead read you Chris's thoughts on it, how the song Masterpiece came to be and what it means to him. Now granted, this is what he released back in August of 2022 when the motion picture collection was released, but whether it's the motion picture collection or the regular version, it still applies, I think. So, to quote Chris Motionless, "It's very difficult to confront the story of your life and not fixate and obsess over so many of the things you wish you had done or said differently. It's hard not to succumb to the alluring quicksand of what ifs and what could have beens. It's difficult to ask someone for forgiveness, but when that person is yourself, it is a much more arduous task and a brick wall I am still trying to chip away at. Over the pandemic lockdown, I was given a gift of time to myself that I had never experienced in that way before, and it came with many unexpected revelations. Masterpiece was the first of 6 songs from the new album, the others being Sign of Life, Werewolf, Porcelain, Cause of Death, and Burned at Both Ends too, that I started writing to document those revelations and what became the end of the world within, portions of the new record. It is also the first song in my memory that I've written that does not include some sort of positive or uplifting inflection to offer hope of resolution. Though I know there is always some light at the end of the tunnel for everyone, I specifically wanted to write Masterpiece from the perspective of the initial emotions at the dawn of a long journey to self-forgiveness where everything feels hopeless and consumed by the blinding darkness surrounding you. These 6 songs are all written from within or about the confrontational conversations with myself in my own mind, with thankfully the light finally shining in the far distance in Burned at Both Ends too. I know that this story will continue to evolve and many more songs will come out of it as I continue to work on myself and attempt to make amends. I know that it will continue as I find new life in the death of old me. However, for now, I am very grateful that we are in a point in our career where we have the ability to create versions of our songs that help portray these stories in much more cinematic and vivid fashion. And with that, I hope you enjoy the Masterpiece Motion Picture Collection. Chris." I mean, I'll just let that speak for itself. Personally, when I first read it, when the motion picture collection was dropped in August of 2022, I was at work when I read that, and it was such a struggle not to break down in tears. Thankfully I didn't, but I remember crying when I got home because, as I said last year, that was the first time I truly did not feel alone. Like there was at least one other person out there that understood what it felt like to handle those complex, cannibalistic, I guess, emotions. Well, cannibalistic in a way that you're devouring yourself. Your mind is devouring itself, not actually eating what cannibalism means. But yeah, that self-forgiveness is an arduous task, and to anyone who is struggling with that, I'm not going to offer you any solutions because I don't know what self-forgiveness looks like for you. Just know that you can turn to songs like Masterpiece, the regular version, the motion picture collection, or any other songs that Motionless has written, like the other songs Chris mentioned, Sign of Life, Werewolf, Porcelain, Cause of Death, Burned at Both Ends too. Sign of Life especially has huge significance for me personally, which I might indulge in a future cover. But yeah, just in your process of self-forgiveness, please remember not to be too hard on yourselves, okay? I love you guys. Stay safe. Stay weird. Stay outcasts.